Hello and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, October 17th, 2017. Just want to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here. Hope you had a great weekend. We are in the midst of earnings season and things are really starting to pick up. Worth noting, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs announced this morning. It looks as though they both beat, and Netflix announced last night and beat as well. So we'll see how the market digests that news in the days ahead. But with that, let's get into today's video. I always start off with a look at the Russell Index. Why? Because I always want to make sure that before I add a new name to my watch list, I'm putting it forward in a rising market environment. I want to keep these videos short, so I choose the Russell as my proxy for the markets overall. To me, in my way of thinking, the Russell would be the most rate sensitive of the indexes because they are younger companies that are more likely borrowers. And so just over the years, I've come to use the Russell as my guide. So we always start off with a look at the IWM, which is the ETF for the Russell 2000, and I step back to take a look at it on the bigger time frame, the 5-year monthly. Been keeping an eye on this wedge pattern that has been happening on the Russell since the very beginning of the year. Our black diagonal line has held price in all throughout, but the candle for the month of September was a bullish one, pushing us up and through my black diagonal line, and we are now sitting right up there currently. So this is the bigger view. Always like to take a look at it. This is long-term support resistance. The orange is more medium, and the purple is more short-term. So I'm going to move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year weekly so we can better see how price is behaving. Same lines, just a smaller time frame, so you can see better this wedge, this coiling action that took place, and then the volume and the powerful candle for the month of September that took us up and over my black diagonal line. And now I'm going to zoom into this area because I really want to magnify it for you. So I'm going to move it away from the 2-year weekly to the 6-month daily. And as we talked about in our video last week, I'm looking for market direction here. I'm going to let the market decide. I'm not going to decide for it or get my thinking ahead of the markets. But I want to see it break through this area and prove to me that this is just consolidation. And so I use this blue line as my guide. When price on the Russell is up and over the blue line, which is the 8-day EMA, I'm adding new names to my watch list. So as you can see, it did not close above the 8-day yesterday. So I'm just going to sit tight and I'm going to let the market tell me which way it wants to go, either up and over this way, or is it going to come in? So I'm just going to be patient and wait. Having said that, I want to go over a few charts that I think look interesting here should things pick up between now and Thursday. So I hope you'll stay with me. So although I'm not adding any new names here, I want to highlight an old Chart of the Day Cafe pick for you here that I think might be worth paying attention to in the days ahead should the market pick up, and that name is Celgene Corporation. Ticker symbol CELG on the NASDAQ exchange. I covered this one in early June of this year. It's a big biopharmaceutical company. It's one of the bigger ones. I'm sure you recognize the name. We're looking at the 2-year weekly chart. I want you to note first off this beautiful rounding bottom down here on the weekly, and then price started to pick up here. It came in and retouched an area of support, which is where I picked it up for Chart of the Day Cafe viewers. Highlighted it here. It had a nice run, but it's come into an area here that I think might be interesting, so I will be keeping an eye on this one in the days ahead. I'm going to move it away from my 2-year weekly chart to my 1-year daily, so you can better see this is where I think it was June 8th we profiled it for Chart of the Day Cafe. And if you know me at Chart of the Day Cafe, I am so all over the fundamentals. My charts must have value, growth, and a few other metrics that I look for. Celgene was perfect, and I love the way this one behaved with lift off my trend line, up and over the blue, and away we go. So I think it looks interesting here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see this might be a reversal here. I, of course, look for price to move up and over my blue 8-day EMA. I want to see that confirmation. I use a 3 and 8 trigger, but 3 and 8 EMA, I should say. But just to keep these videos simple, I like to show a clean chart with just my blue line. So I'll be looking for this kind of action. We'll see if we get it. Want to recap the scores as they are today for this one. So still has a really beautiful value score. It's got forecasted earnings growth rate today of 21%, a current PE of 16.86. Does not pay a dividend, unfortunately, but I really like the look of the chart. And I think their earnings might be coming out on October 26th. You might want to double check that, but Celgene might be one to keep an eye on here. So with that, I'll leave you. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll get some action in the Russell so that I can put a new name forward on Thursday, because I've got a couple in the wings that I really love and want to share with you. Thanks again, and have a great next couple of days.